It's starting now.
All right, hello and welcome to the Service Table Podcast. I'm your host, Lloyd, along with my co-host, Truong, and we have a number of special guests today. We've got Hang, Barry, and Mr. David Cohen. Go ahead and say hello, fellas. How you guys doing today?
Good
Very
morning.
Well,
All right, good morning, good morning.
hey, since we're
So,
in the bubble, I'd like to try and answer that question in Vipassana speak, just quickly. Go ahead, ask me how I'm doing.
how you doing? How you doing, Barry?
I'd, I'd say stormy. If I had to express it, I'd say that my equanimity is being challenged by my attempt to not react to the sensations of my mind and matter within myself and within mass consciousness writ large. It seems like the feeling tones of my sensations are one of disappointment in humanities and my inability to achieve full potential and rise above the primary survival level of fear, flight, or freeze behavior. How are you?
That was a lot of jargon right there, man. Love it, love it. I'm doing well myself.
It was a
My
lot of jargon,
equanimity
but
is
I
also a
mean
little bit
that's
challenged.
kind of like it's it's how we think sometimes. You know, when somebody says how you doing to me, it's like I want to be able to express myself in those terms sometimes. That's all. Just wanted to give it a shot. Thanks.
Right on, right on. And how you doing, Hang? How you doing
Very
today?
cool. Very cool.
Uh, I would say that the five enemies are really attacking me during my practice,
Oh man.
and so definitely challenging in that aspect. The torpor, the agitation, the craving, the aversions. What's the other one? The doubt, not so much. So maybe just four enemies.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Nice.
And what's up, Trug, man? How you doing, Trug?
I'm good. Just like everyone else, we're all observing and doing our best. So doing our best to be equanimous and yeah, let's welcome the new guest for today though.
Yeah, for sure. I was saving the best for last, Mr. David Cohen. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I was able to go to a group sit this morning, actually, which was pretty
Oh,
nice.
nice.
So that helps out with my equanimity. And yesterday, I actually had lunch with a 81-year-old AT, and I sat with him after lunch, Arthur Nichols, and that was somewhat enlightening. So you guys are catching me in a good frame right now.
Nice. And he does the Latin America, Mr. Nichols, right?
Yeah, he's I actually was mentioning I have this crazy friend who wants to start courses in the Dominican Republic, but he slowed down on it a little bit, and he said, "Yeah, he knows all about it." I think he's all over Latin America for sure.
Yeah, I reached out to him a while ago.
But he's 81. It's amazing. He's still doing a lot. But he did say that with newer stuff that he's sending it over to Lisha a lot of times, who I know you know also. So.
Very nice. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, how'd you get into the practice? And like, you're of course you're one of our brothers in the practice as well. How'd you get started? What is your history? I know you wrote a little bit for the organization as well. Can you touch on some of those things?
Yeah. So the first course I sat, I basically just turned 40. I'm 46 now. I had wanted to go for at least 5 years before that, and my kids were pretty young. I really didn't have the support to be able to go, and the rest of my family thought it was just super crazy and were kind of worried about me in general going. So it was a very slow build up where I kind of had it in my mind, oh, I could do a 3-day course. And I had researched a lot. I had read The Art of Living. I had read the discourse summaries. I knew like more or less at least the framework of the course, and that it's very serious and you got to go the 10-day first before you do anything shorter. So I had it kind of built up over time. Oh, I could do 3 days. I'm sure I could get support. I could do 5 days. I could do 7 days. And then stuff was going on and I was turning 40 and I said, no, I'm doing this. This just means too much to me. I just want to do it once. so I signed up for a 10-day. I think it was a couple weeks after I turned 40. My family thought it'd be too depressing for me to go to a course when I turned 40 or something. In fact, my parents were. I explained everything to them, and they said, you know, this sounds like prison. What's wrong with you? You're a decent guy. In fact, we offer to pay for anywhere you want to go for like a retreat. We'll pay for you to go to California or whatever. We'll pay, you know, for some spa. Like, why are you, you know, beating yourself up? But I just, if something felt really right about it, reading about it and listening to a few people talk about it. One thing that was helpful was I met a guy down here who went to a few courses himself, and he said that it was really good technique. He actually is somebody who teaches mindfulness-based stress reduction, and he's like been in it for decades. He was in some of the first teachings with what's the guy's name?
Cuenca?
John Kabat-Zinn. So he was in it with John Kabat-Zinn, who's like one of the biggest names in mindfulness. And he said, no, well, even though he teaches this mindfulness-based stress reduction, that the Goenka centers are really great. If you have that volition, you should definitely go. So it was nice to meet somebody in person who didn't seem like they were insane or something like that, who had gone on a course. And so that was it. I went on my first course in Wisconsin, actually. Dropped my kids off with my parents, went up there, and it was definitely difficult during the course. I can tell you that when I finished, I thought, I'll never do this again. I'm glad that I did it once, but I'm pretty bad at this. And I saw a lot of other people who seemed like maybe they're more gifted than me in this. And again, it was a really nice challenge. I'm really happy that I finished it, but I doubt I'll ever step foot at another course again. And then little by little, those, you know, when I got back home, the feeling was just like this pure bliss that I didn't have on the course, actually. And then it got quickly to the point of like, how fast can I get back to a center?
Nice.
But I couldn't get back to a center that fast because even though my family was really, you know, happy that I finished and we're starting to understand stuff a little more. As what happens naturally is it starts wearing off. The bliss starts wearing off. You get back into real life. But it's something that I obviously am very connected to. I've been able to go back a few times to sit. Was able to serve last summer in person with Truong and Lloyd and Barry were all there. Went up to serve a little bit at Tamandara over the fall. And I'm in a lot of committees. One thing, I don't want to dominate the whole conversation, but we can talk about, because a lot of people, they just can't or don't think they have the time to make it to the center to go serve, but there are other ways to stay involved. And there are committees you can be on. There's stuff that you can organize that can help out, even if you can't get to the center. I mean, all of us here, you guys more than me, have spent a lot of time at the center, and it's not that, I won't say it's the same. It's not the same. Nothing's the same. But if that's the only thing you can do, it's definitely better than nothing and can be inspiring at times.
Absolutely. So you touched on a couple of things that I thought was interesting there. You mentioned the MBR or MBSR and MBT, mindfulness-based therapies, and mindfulness-based stress reduction is definitely becoming more mainstream. I know even some veterans are allowed to use MBT for their PTSD. So I thought that was very interesting that you touched on that. And it's cool that you met somebody who was in that practice. So I wanted to ask
Actually, when you say allowed,
yes.
I'm sorry, like when you say allowed, does that mean it will be paid for by the government?
Yeah, they
Is
are.
that what you meant by allowed?
They're incorporating it as a form of